Let's see. What do we have here? I'll do the other side. Yeah, if it were up to me, I would plant wherever I wanted to, but I can't film from here. There's no way I could set up a tripod back there. The walkways are not wide enough. So instead, I will plant over here. Water leaking on the floor here. I'll have to figure out where that came from. All right. Where did you come from? Right there. Got a hydroponic feed that has let go. All right. There we go. That's better. I was like, there was no water on the floor this morning. Why is there water on the floor now? Okay, fix that. I have to replace some of the clips here. We use little binder clips to hold the hydroponic lines to the tomato buckets. And one of them just slid out. So I need to fix that because we don't want that happening. That's a huge waste of hydroponic solution, etc., etc. All right, now let's see if I can get... Tripods are not my favorite thing. They really aren't. I've used them a lot over the years because I've done a lot of wildlife photography. But other than that, they're not my favorite thing. Okay, you are now looking at my Amanda orange pot right there. And I have in my possession some Muir Summer Crisp lettuce and some Butter Crunch lettuce. And I am simply going to plant a couple of these seeds. Let's see, this says, haven't planted lettuce recently. 1/8 of an inch deep. Eighth of an inch. Okay. So I'm just going to plant a couple of these guys in here. I'm not going to get fancy, but use my finger. And we'll see how they grow. These are pelleted. Pelleted seeds have shorter longevity than regular seeds because the pelleting process actually does some damage to the seed, basically. Still can be worth it, but it means that sometimes if they're a little older, they won't do as well. So I'm putting in just a couple of seeds there. I'm not looking for a huge quantity of lettuce. It would just be nice to have some on site. I know that I fished up my labels this morning. Usually what I do is actually attach the labels to the packages, but I didn't this morning. So the stuff on this side is Muir, and the stuff on this side will be Butter Crunch. I'm going to put just a couple in, and then I will probably go back around the other side and do the same thing because I'm using up space that the tomatoes are not going to need forever, basically. And looking at lettuce seed, you can see why people like the pelleted stuff. This can be kind of a pain because it's so tiny. And you know, you get it under your fingernail and you've got 3 or 4 seeds a lot of times. And you're like, I just wanted 1 or 2. Okay. Now, this is on automatic irrigation, but when I first start new seeds, I always do a little bit of top watering with my watering can. There we go. So, Butter Crunch and Muir. And I'll get my watering can. Okay, there we go. This is rainwater. It comes off the roof of our house, and it's collected in a big tank behind it. And I'm top watering these because these are my babies, and I want to make sure that they get a good overall watering. Once they're established, I don't really need to do this very much, if at all. But just to give them a good start, I often do it. So that's what I'm up to. The squash plants that are down here. Let's see, this is Sunburst squash, which is a yellow patty pan. Hannah's Choice, which is cantaloupe. Sunburst, that's another yellow patty pan. Golden Delight zucchini, that is a yellow zucchini. That's also Golden Delight. And this is another Hannah's Choice, which is a cantaloupe. Those are all going to be going out into the garden. We have old straw bale beds out there that we've been refurbishing. And I have hardware cloth over the top of one of them right now that has black zucchini and butternut squash in it. But these were a little bit behind, so now that they're big enough, they'll be going out in the next day or two. I'm hoping to get the new covers built for those this weekend, because these really need to be out of here. And I also want to put in some of the nasturtiums outside, just to enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy them in here, but it'd be nice to have some more color in the yard too. Right now in the yard we have bachelor buttons, and the iris is done blooming. The daffodils are obviously done blooming, but we have bachelor buttons and well, the chives have been blooming. They're pretty, even if you don't want them to seed all over the place. The cosmos are growing like crazy, but they haven't started to bloom yet. Rudbeckia, which is Black-Eyed Susan, is also growing like crazy, has not started to bloom yet. So we're in the process. We're doing really well. So, I hope you enjoy the little tour here. Very pleased with how it's done this year. We ate as many spinach salads and regular salads as we wanted to all spring. We had a lot of broccoli, kohlrabi, some cauliflower, cabbage. Yeah, it did really well. And now we're getting into that stage where we're starting to get a ton of tomatoes. Of course, none of them are ripening yet, which is always that you kind of peer at them every day. And of course, I think it's a ripened tomato never, a green tomato never ripens when you're watching it. The same as, kind of like a watch pot never boils. The spinach over here is getting a little shaggy. The spinach on the backside here is getting a little shaggy too. So I want to harvest off the back stuff here today probably. And we'll have another spinach salad tonight. And then I'll probably replant that. I just have to decide whether I'm going to replant it with spinach or with lettuce. Our bug situation has been pretty good here so far, knock on wood. We have not had trouble with bean beetles yet, or cucumber beetles. We do have some thrips in here. I've been doing mostly physical control on that, but I need to... we've also had some fungus gnat problems. I sprayed for the fungus gnats earlier, and kind of knocked them down. As as we get fewer of these large pots in here, there will be less of that, but I'm still probably going to spray for that again, because I just don't like having bugs in here. I've been trimming off the leaves that are most badly damaged. But in general, it's been a very good winter. We did not get our veggies in as early as we wanted to this year. However, we still got good production. Under normal circumstances, I would have had more spinach and broccoli than we did this year. But for getting it in late, it still went very well. So, all in all, very successful. And planting the peas in the pots here was definitely the way to go. We will be doing that from now on. We've had very spotty success with shelling peas in the garden, mostly because our weather is so erratic, and it can go from 40 degrees to 100 practically overnight, and the plants just can't deal with that. We can control it better in here. It's not perfect, but between that and the rodents eating things, this has been a better solution this year. So we will definitely we're actually going to try and plant them again this fall, because I have more pea seed, and I would like to plant 2 or 3 of these big pots full of peas this fall, and see how long I can push it into the fall, because we have usually even our moderately tender plants will do well in here until November, December, sometimes longer if we have a mild fall. So we're hoping that the peas will really blossom and produce fruitfully this fall. So until next time, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because obviously I have been super busy. Right now I'm in the process of getting ready for our biggest merchanting event of the year, which happens the end of July. And so I'm in heavy production mode for that. Plus I have several custom orders I need to work on. And in between, I try and get out here every single morning. Well, I do get out here every single morning. Usually with the dog, we're usually the only ones up. We come out here, and he hides under the table, or he lays her out in the sun, depending on how cold it is. And then I just do whatever needs to be done. I try and keep it really clean in here. I'll trim off any dead leaves, especially with the large things like the broccoli and cabbage and stuff. When you get those bottom leaves that tend to yellow and stuff, I immediately take those off, because I'm trying to eliminate any growth areas for fungus or bug eggs or anything else like that. So until next time, bye. Oh, and don't forget to keep brainstorming, because obviously we are.